Here we have a 2011 BMW 318i. This is the E90 model, the LCI, the facelift model. This car is currently for sale. So before I show you the insides, I want to show you a cool trick. So this is the key fob. It's supposed to be a BMW logo, but it's already faded. This is the unlock button. So you just hold the unlock button, hold it for a while. All the windows roll down. Then since this is the lock button, you just hold it for a while and it goes back up. All four at the same time. There you go. Okay, so let's enter the car. You'll notice that the interior is pretty much perfect. There's no leather cracking, no leather tears. So let's go on in. So one neat trick with this BMW, if you want to have the key in your pocket while driving, so you just insert the key, you start it up, you turn it off, you remove the key, then you start it up again at once. It's going to start without the key in the ignition, so you can just keep it in your pocket. It's a pretty cool trick. That is the parking light front right failure. So we just press the BC button, clears it, there you go. 70,822 kilometers, all original. This is supposed to be the fan up button and fan down button, but it's already faded. Okay, let's see if it has a good thud we want. It's a good thud. So okay, here on inside, unlike newer BMW models, you're gonna notice that although there are soft touch materials here, even here, and here, there's still some plastic that was acceptable for this class back in 2011. So that's hard touch plastic, that's plastic, that's also plastic. But aside from that, everything else feels nice in here. You got your automatic headlamps, or you can turn them on here. Then your front and back fog lights, there you go. This is for your high beam adjust. So your high beam actually goes up and down just by moving the switch. There you go. So this particular BMW doesn't come with a reverse camera. If you put it in reverse, you only get a reverse sensor. That's it, no camera right there. And you also have your sport mode right here. So if you put it in sport mode, not only can you change the gears manually, there you go, M1, M3, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, but actually if you just turn it over to the left without moving it, it goes into DS mode, which makes your throttle response, your transmission changes a bit faster, and it holds your gears more. Oh, by the way, the power lock is here in the middle. DTC, you can turn that off. That's your traction control. This part, the vent adjusters, this one's broken, so you can move it up and down, but it wouldn't move left and right anymore. You can actually pull this out. This one works. Both sides, that side and this other side, they're also missing. Over here at the center, you have your iDrive controller. So your iDrive is over there. This has a new updated iDrive system. The older one just looks really outdated. This is still pretty similar to the newer BMWs. This car doesn't have a dipstick, so the way you check your engine oil levels, you go to vehicle information, and you go to vehicle status, and it's going to tell your oil level right there. So it's only going to do it when the engine's hot, so you can't just start it up and check it immediately. After an oil change, it's a bit of a tedious task to do. Glove box. It's a decent size. You have a cup holder for the driver. Most E90s, this one breaks, but this model still has it working perfectly. Then you have another one over there for the passenger side. That one just comes out straight out. It doesn't curve like this one. You got a center cubby here. There, it's pretty small. Then over at the center, since this car doesn't have Bluetooth yet, you got a USB port and an aux in. Looking up here, You got your lights. This opens both the front lights and the rear lights right there. You also have these two lights, your two map lights. You also have another cubby over here. What's good about this cubby is that if you have coins in there, they won't rattle around because even though it's a bit of hard plastic, it is lined with some sort of felt. It's pretty thin, but it's enough to keep the rattling sound down. Okay, so let's start revving the car. The car revs pretty high. That's until 6,600 RPM to redline. As you can see, the car doesn't rough idle it or anything. The car is in perfect condition. Let's go on over to the back. So this being a 3 Series, you shouldn't expect that there's that much legroom at the back. This is a compact car after all. I mean, there's enough legroom. It's not the biggest, but it's not bad. You have your rear air vents. You have your this is your center headrest. You can flip that up or push it down and just fold it so you have more visibility. You have a center armrest, which also acts as your cup holders for the back. As with any 3 Series, the center seat, it exists. You have a seat belt for it, but this is pretty high, so your foot is not going to get over that. It's going to be a bit difficult. So the guy in the middle is not going to have a good time. And as with most BMWs, you have this nice side bolstering, so you can sleep there if you're a passenger. It's pretty nice. The dash really looks pretty, even in 2020. I mean, this is a 2011 model. With the exception, of course, of the hard touch plastic materials, but visual-wise, looks pretty nice. The iDrive system really helps modernize it a lot. Opening up the trunk, you don't seem to have any trunk release from inside, so you only have one right here. That goes up like that. Okay, so you have your warning triangle. The trunk is it's pretty good for this size. This already came with run flat tires, so you don't have a spare tire. Your battery compartment is over here. There you go. That opens up. That's your battery right there. It's a tow hook. You just keep it there. To close it, you just pull it. Okay. This also comes with a ducktail spoiler. Car looks pretty good. These tires are wrapped in 205/55 R16. These are Pirelli Cinturato P7 tires. They're pretty good too. They're very quiet on highway, and they're pretty good over bumps too. The passenger seat, just like the driver's seat, has power seat controls, but you only have up, down, and recline. You don't have the front part up, front part down, and the back part up, back part down. The seat doesn't move like that. It only moves up and down that way. This car has a fresh set of wipers. They're pretty expensive if you buy them from the dealership, but this one, they're pretty fresh. Okay, so let's open up the hood. Oh, you have memory seats here too. So under the hood, this E90 comes with the N46 engine. BMW actually came up with the newer N43 with they call it the direct injection ones, but they didn't send those over to the Philippines because we have high sulfur fuel, so we still use the older N46 engine. This is a very small 2-liter inline-4 engine that makes around 134 horsepower. And it's not the most powerful engine, but for a car this size, I think it's enough. Very clean all around. Since the battery of this car is in the trunk, and the trunk is an electronic release, it's going to be a bit hard to, almost impossible actually, to jumpstart the car if the battery is dead. So what they did is they placed the positive side here, so you can just remove this, and it's metal in there. You just charge up your jumper cable over there, positive side. Then the negative side, you actually connect it to this metal pole here. That's how you jumpstart your BMW. So right off the bat, you're gonna notice that this car is pretty firm. I mean, you'd expect a luxury car to ride really well over bumps, right? I mean, it does, but it's really on the firm side. But don't forget that this 3 Series is meant to be a compact, sporty luxury car. So comparing it to, let's say, the W204 Mercedes C-Class from this era, this rides way firmer. But that does in fact translate to better handling. And the steering wheel, this that's really, really tight. You can feel everything. You know where the tires are pointed. If you're doing turns, you're not going to miss anything. Right there over a speed bump, you can feel it way more than a W204. This car is quite narrow as well, so if you're driving it in tight streets, it's pretty good. But of course, your heavy steering, that's the downside to it. Your visibility is not bad. You got some really thick B pillars. The B pillars they're okay, but the rear, that's a bit small. Get out here. As I turn this corner, you can tell that it feels really tight. The way it turns is really good. There's just some rattling you're going to hear from this rear view mirror because it's a bit loose already. Aside from that, the suspension, the engine, the transmission, everything's perfect. If you watch my other videos, you're going to see that I do a slight acceleration test here on the incline as I turn the corner. So I'll do that with this as well. This car is not a fast car, not at all. It's kind of slow. It's just a 2-liter engine. But it's enough. Okay, from here, I'm just going to floor it. So you're going to see speed. It revs pretty high. It's still V6, so don't expect V6 car or V6 power. But for what it is, on the highway, it's a great cruiser. You can do 150, that's just going to feel like you're doing 80.